Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Meena every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share with friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Gaurav Pradhan ji joins us. Welcome.
Namaste, Jai Hind to everyone. I'm sorry, Meena ma'am, I'm back after a long time on your channel. I was traveling and I was busy, so my apologies for you.
Not at all. Not at all. We know. We know when you're busy, and we also know when though we miss you, we always feel that see you have to also take care of your work as well as your health.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, please bear with me, Gauraji. See, because earlier I just wanted to show some images to the audience before we start the conversation. So I hope that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah. So, here, friends, before we start, my request to all the viewers, our Independence Day is August 15th. The Prime Minister has requested everyone to have a flag outside their house on these days. I would also suggest that you put your DP in social media with the flag to show your feeling of pride to be an Indian. So this is very important if you have the sense of patriotism, because the more the people do it, the more the sense of patriotism becomes viral. It's very important for our country because it is only with patriotism our country goes forward. And also, Gauraji, I just showed them a little bit of the this week's cartoons. So, Toon Tales. Okay, so somebody's on a scooter and looking for, hoping to spot Silly Kunal, somewhere. So that's someone. The second one is with Lal Chadda coming out. Somebody seems to love India very much, and he just can't have enough of India. And for those who have not seen the earlier cartoons, just a few more. That's somebody being taken into custody. That's what happened this week. Next week, hopefully, this should happen. And then, of course, this is the state of Bollywood, as we said yesterday. We have all the movies going down, right from Samrat Prithviraj Shamshera, and now Ek Villain returns, and this Raksha Bandhan, and now waiting for Lal Singh Chadda and also Pathan. And of course, Sushant is alone upstairs, wondering why his case is taking so long. 2 years and a month, nothing is happening, whereas something about somebody's daughter is acted upon in a day. Of course, Lok Sabha was also a day where a lot of activity took place, drama and theatrics, and that also was, in the spotlight. And this, of course, goes back to the wonderful, silly situation they all found themselves in. Okay, so back to Gaurav. Thank you, friends. Okay, so Gaurav, we have a lot of interesting things happening. The breaking news is that now ED seals National Herald office and instructs premises not to be opened without prior permission. A notice duly signed by Kuldeep Singh, the assistant director of the ED, has been passed and pasted outside the office, which reads that the premises cannot be opened without prior permission of the agency. Now, the whole action came a day after the ED conducted raids at 12 locations linked to Congress mouthpiece National Herald in connection with the money laundering case. Herald House is the registered office address of Associate Journals Limited. The publisher, the National Herald newspaper's publisher, which is under probe over its acquisition by Young Indian, a firm linked to the Gandhi family. On Tuesday, they had raided 12 locations linked to National Herald and recovered few incriminating documents in the raid. Few digital devices were also seized by the agency. As per reports, the statements of some National Herald employees were also recorded. Recently, both mother and son, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul, were questioned by ED in connection with the money laundering case. While Rahul Gandhi was questioned by ED on June 13th, For over 6 hours, the statement was recorded under Section 50 of the PMLA. The Congress Supremo, Sonia Gandhi, finally appeared before the agency on July 21st. Now, Gauravji, so there's a lot of activity happening, and also we are getting to hear from some tweets that they could also be arrested soon. So, since you know a lot of things that we don't know, and you always see what's happening in future, do tell us your thoughts on this.
Meenaji, I would rather, commenting on this, I would rather take your audience to Mahabharata.
Okay.
And I want to point it out that there were two warriors, one was Karn and other was Arjun. And the whole idea of Karn was to kill Arjun. That is the promise he made to Mata Kunti, that his five Pandavas should always be alive. Despite Narayan Swam, he himself was the Sarthi of Arjun. Narayan never took Arjun in front of Karan. Till that time, the Karan used his Shakti on Ghatotkacha. And only after the Shakti was destroyed, Narayan took Arjun in front of Karan. What I mean to say here is, for everything, you may be a great warrior, you may be equipped with best of the weapons, but at the end of the day, there is always a right time to do it and a planning to do it. People have been asking about putting Sonia and Rahul ji in jail for quite a long time, and I understand that's a emotion what most of us carry, that we want to see these two people in jail. But the guys who are sitting, the people who are sitting in the power, the people who are sitting in the ruling government need to understand not to take any knee jerk reaction, because our emotions are knee jerk reactions. More, in place of putting and Rahul as in jail, the most important, more important than them, was ensuring that India is safe. When you say India is safe, India is culturally safe, economically safe, strategically safe, and by armed forces, it's safe. If you see, if you rewind back and go to 2014, and you see the situation of India, we were in fragile fight. We were economically destroyed. We were worse than Sri Lanka. If the white paper would have come, India would have collapsed. And over a period of last 8 years, the government first strengthened its soldiers. It strengthened its farmers so that there is no shortage of food production. And as Chanakya always says, the most potent weapon for any army is food. If you have food on your table, you can be very, very powerful. So it strengthened the farmer, it strengthened the army, it strengthened India economically. We had a good forex reserve of $600 billion today. We are producing our own weapons. We are less dependent. We are energy secured. We are no more dependent on Middle East. We have invoked Iran and Russia for our energy need. And today we hold a position in the world where it is very difficult for any powerful nation to go against India. Now, once India is surrounded and secured on most of the things which affect common people, then we can take on these two guys, because they are a part of cabal which is globally connected, and they were against India. So you need to secure nation, and you just don't need to secure nation like this. You also need to secure nation on religious front, because India is a multi-religion society. You like it, you don't like it, that's a different issue. But the fact is that that is the reason Modi also met Pope. Modi also meet people from Middle East, Islamic nations. The OIC was broken, Pakistan was alienated, and security was done. And because all these things were going on, strengthened India. You saw the Ram temple happening, you saw the 370 and 35A to be removed. These are the very important thing to be understood. And that is why I say, when you take Arjun, when Sri Krishna took Arjun in front of Karna, he ensured that the Shakti which Karna has and preserved only for Arjun was destroyed. So all these things may be a surprise to some, may be meaning of joy to some. For me, it is a daily routine. I know you cannot behave emotionally when you are in a position of prime minister or home minister or in government. You need to be very balanced, and nation comes above every one of us. It comes above Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi also. So very important was that you secure everything. And as I said, unless and until you crack the ecosystem of a politician, putting them in jail is revival. So you have to intelligently and with a very good planning, you have to dismantle the entire ecosystem. Unless the ecosystem is destroyed, you should not and you cannot put a politician behind bars. And in every scene you have seen that government has destroyed the ecosystem first of these people who are against the nation at most of the time, and only then they reached to them. Whereas our Swami sir has always voiced to go and put somebody in jail, go and write an audience and build Ram temple. These kind of knee-jerk reaction is not expected out of a learned person. But these were knee-jerk reaction, and I am very happy that government is going as per the planning and as per the brilliant
But here,
strategy.
just an interruption here, Gauraji. See, but we cannot deny the fact that Dr. Swami was the one instrumental in the National Herald case as well as
No,
in the Ram Janmabhoomi.
no, 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 no. I sincerely beg to differ. With respect, I beg to differ. I have nothing personal against Swami sir. I have never used a loose term for him. I respect him because he is like my father. But on political front, I have a difference. Mr. Subramanian Swamy, when he raised the National Herald case, if you remember when mother and son went to bail for bail at T. Sajari court, the 9 kilometer radius Delhi was jammed. That was an effort to show Narendra Modi not to put hand on this family. Swami sir created a National Herald issue, which was, if you see his paper, there was nothing significant. It was only to be shown as a strength of Congress president and the vice president to the people and especially to Narendra Modi. Modi ji took advantage of it and a preparation was started to investigate National Herald. So while Swami sir created this this drama, he was playing on two sides. If you put Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi in jail, he will say it is his credit and he becomes a hero in BJP. If Modi doesn't put Sonia and Rahul in jail, he will say that I have given the proof and you haven't put in jail, and he goes to Congress and say, listen, this is what the power I have created. On the Ram Janbhoomi cases, please investigate in 1991. Amohi Akhada. Sorry, I'm not able to pronounce the name correctly. Amohi Akhada, something like that. They hate Swami sir. Why they hate Swami sir? Please go to Ayodhya and ask them. Because when the Muslim body and a Hindu body agreed to build the temple in 1991, it was Swami sir who took the case to Supreme Court, to the court, not to Supreme Court. He took to the court, right? And it was a delay tactics to delay the Ram temple. This is exactly why during Chief Justice of India, Justice Gogoi, when he was the chair, and he took up the Ram Janmabhoomi final hearing. He asked Swamy sir to get out of the court. He is not a party. He refused to make Swamy sir as a party because the whole effort was to delay the Ram Janmabhoomi. And it was decided, and I mean, if people have read my tweets when I was on Twitter, yesterday also I posted a screenshot. In 2017, I said November 2019, get your crackers ready.
mm,
Now, crackers are for Diwali. November 19, we all know what happened. The Ram Janmabhoomi judgment came. Now, how the hell Gaurav Pradhan knows about it in 2017? What I am trying to say is not about me, but I am trying to indicate that the plan to put the Ram temple was always there, and it required a decent amount of planning, both internally as well as externally, because it has multiple implications, geopolitical as well as within the nation, to mitigate those risks first and then take a judgment. I mean, Narendra Modi is not a faltu guy who will go to Supreme Court to see chamber number one to have a tea with CGI. I mean, that is a nonsense. So he went with a purpose. He went to deliver a message himself rather than using Ravi Shankar Prasad to deliver the message. He delivered the message himself, and the hearing started. And November 19, you had Ram Temple World. So I'm sorry to say, with great respect, that I don't give a single penny credit to Subramanian Swamy sir, both for National Herald, 2G, or your Ram Mandir or Ram Setu.
okay. Himani is asking you, in National Health case, 100 crores of property is the hot burning debate. It's said that it belongs to veterans along with 87 lakh revenue per month. Is that right?
Himani, you understand the way things work. Start from a small case. We pick up a very small amount or very small case to get the process running. 100 crore is nothing. Trust me, a local gunda kind of politician have 100 crore wealth. So it is not. This property goes into lakhs of crore. Now, what is the reason that Congress party never want to give it presidential post to any outsider other than Ma Beta? The reason is simple, because it is Congress Party Private Limited. And Congress Party Private Limited hold billions of dollar worth of property all across India, which include Maharashtra, Bangalore, and your Delhi NCR area. Now, if you give the presidential post to somebody else, the entire property goes to Congress party and the family will not have a control. So 100 crore and 87 lakhs and all these are the starting point. Wait for some time, these will blow up to a lot of zeros you have to add after 100 crores.
In between, Gauraji, you can just speak in Hindi as well.
I'll try my best.
Yeah. Okay. So the next point that we want to discuss is Lal Singh Chadda. Now, why is this Mr. Perfectionist rattled? Isn't he confident of his craft? Now he has decided to come and claim that he loves India. What is he afraid of? And why do you think now he's completely in the trying to bring his wives and the divorce and everything into the limelight? What is happening to this man? Has he lost his marbles?
I mean, to understand Amir Khan, there are many statements floating on Facebook and Twitter and videos. What he said in the past about Modi, what he said about Hindus, what he said about nation. Apart from that, I recall, which people have forgotten, his participation in Narmada Bachao Andolan. Narmada Bachao Andolan, as it has already been proved, is was the game of Congress party, and to be precise, Ahmed Patel, Sonia Gandhi, to derail the Narmada development process, and to their hit was Gujarat and Narendra Modi. Anything which Narendra Modi do need to be opposed, need to be stopped. That was the mandate. Now you all have seen Amir Khan participating in Narmada Bachao Andolan And while he was talking about raising the height of the dam, the results you have already seen by raising the height of the dam, lot of Kutch and Saurashtra area which never used to see water. Today you have a good amount of farming and people are living, they are getting drinking water, cooking water as well as irrigation water. So the Narmada River project has turned around as a blessing for millions of people across Gujarat, across four states, not just Gujarat, as well as thousands of villages have been fertile because of Narmada water and also the electricity which is generated out of it. Amir Khan has always worked with Congress. So when Pakistan has problem, when Congress has problem, Amir Khan will have problem. He is the puppet, he is the face from the Bollywood. Bollywood has no brains. Let's be very factual about it. Bollywood doesn't work on brains. Now, earlier, what these people have, be it Amir Khan, Shah Rukh, all the three Khans and Akshays and all those people, they are demigods. They have become demigods. They know whatever they will serve, people will accept it and people will watch it and give it money to them. So even during Narmada Andolan, a film of Amir Khan was coming and a question was asked to Amir Khan that his participation in the project will impact his earning in the film because Gujaratis are very attached to Narmada project. And his reply was 5 to 7 crore loss doesn't matter to me. So that was the arrogance of Amir Khan because at the end of the day, his motives were very clear. Now, for the last couple of years, the Hindu Samaj is waking up and we have started asking questions why you have to put a picture of Krishna ji, Bhagwan Krishna, when you are changing your clothes. Why a lady had to put in his dressing room a picture of Krishna Bhagwan when you are standing nude in front of a mirror. Right now, since 1970, show me one film which has a positive picturization of a Hindu wearing a bhagwa or putting a tilak or a rudra. Not one. Hindus are always shown as a villain, while the other side of the story, since you are also in Bombay, you know Bombay better than me. The underworld is purely Muslims. So this underworld gang, which was working and financing the Hindu hatred among us for the last many years, are now shocked that Hindus are waking up and we are raising the voice. Sunil Dutt, Sanjay Dutt picture which just came out. I don't know the name. It start from S. Why the villain was putting a tilak and why he was pulling a Rudraksh mala? That is a question. You could have put a villain without Rudraksh mala or without tilak, but why you portrayed that as a Hindu? Because you want to give clear picture. I mean, if you go to the legendary film of Sholay, all the robbery distribution used to take place behind the statue, behind the murti of Mahadev, while the masjid was chaka chak all the time and the loudspeaker used to work for 5 time nawaz when the village didn't even had electricity. So that the deterioration of Hindus started in 70s when the communists took over our education and culture from Indira Gandhi. When Indira Gandhi need help of communists to form the government, and they said we don't need any ministry, but we need control on education. So we need to appoint the vice chancellor, professors, headmasters, and all these people. And there the deterioration of Sanatan really started. Films are no different because it has a subconscious mind. People have not forgotten PK movie when you made fun of Bhagwan Ram Khadau, when you made fun of Shivji running in a bathroom and making him run all over. Why can't you do or when you are urinating on the wall and you put your briefcase down with Shivji's photo and Durga Ma photo on it. What was the purpose of zooming your camera on it? Right? It has a purpose, right? It was something to show you. So people have remember, and in digital world, nobody forget. And if anybody forget, people like us are there to remind and refresh your memory. Second part is that with Amir Khan movie getting flopped, which I am quite certain, and not just Amir Khan, even Akshay Kumar, Raksha Bandhan also need to be flopped. Amir Khan won't be able to make 3,000 crore cut in China, which he did with Gajani. And if you see the recent tweet of Chinese ambassador in India, he supported the Amir Khan film, and I'm quite sure this film will be released in China, and 1,000 to 1,500 or 2,000 crore revenue will be shown, because that's how the hawala works. This money goes back to the society to make it weak to work against Hindus, to work against Modi or current government, destabilize the nation. That is continuously going to happen. So he is rattled because he is getting exposed brutally. What he thought, his arrogance, that nothing will happen to him, he is a perfectionist, and everybody will watch his movie. My dear Amir, your time is up, and the Hindus are waking.
Well said. Himani says, if Rahul and Sonia are in ED's focus, but Smriti's unaccounted for wealth over the years too fall under scrutiny, at least for starters. फिर शायद बेनामी संपत्ति घोषित हो. Now, a lot
Uh,
of the people
Imani, I
believe.
would rather request you, if you have anything against Smriti Irani undeclared wealth, kindly send it to me. I will expose. I promise I will expose Smriti Irani.
Yeah,
My dear, you are forgetting one thing. Smriti Irani is a politician, while her husband is a career businessman, and he do business with a very clear thought. The recent controversy about a pub or a bar in Goa is also very stupid, for a one simple reason, because this restaurant is a joint venture between Smriti Irani husband, who is a career businessman, along with his friend who lost his life in 2021. So when they applied for renewal of the license, bar license, the son of that gentleman asked the authorities to transfer the bar license in his name because the father is no more. And because Smriti Irani husband is a partner in that bar, her daughter, who did apprenticeship in many other restaurants, also did here. And because it was partly owned by father, she was like a proud kid, spoke good about the bar. The beef and all those thing controversies put up by Congress is already busted, because they have presented a menu which is of a different restaurant, not of this. And on 15th of August, while you will celebrate Independence Day in your home and in your places, I am celebrating 15th of August in Goa with lot of followers, lot of people who want to meet me. And 15th of August, I'm in Goa, and I promise I will go to Silly Soul, and I will have a nice drink with my wife, which happens to be her birthday later in a day or two, and we will have a nice time in that restaurant. So all the controversy regarding Smriti Irani, if you have proof, give it to me. I promise I will expose.
okay.
But please
So
come with.
here, one question. Yeah, one question to you, Gauravji. See, all the times what Smriti has been saying is that neither she nor her daughter have any connection with the bar and the restaurant. But Zubin is married to her; they are not divorced. So if Zubin is a partner of it, how come she is not a part of it?
Ma'am, technically, if let's say Gaurav Pradhan Foundation, now Gaurav Pradhan Foundation, there are two directors, that is me and my wife. My son is now adult, but he is not director of Gaurav Pradhan Foundation. You cannot say he is a official of Gaurav Pradhan Foundation or working in foundation. He is an adult. He is a separate adult who has his own career. Yes, he do participate in GPF work sometime whenever he is free from his college. He writes lot of things for us, lot of coding for us. That doesn't mean he belong to the organization. So Smriti Irani daughter, who is doing his apprenticeship, like my son learns at GPF, how do we do public service. Same as with her daughter that she learned in her father's restaurant. That doesn't mean that legally on the statutory things she is the owner.
Yeah, but Smriti also said that she's not the owner.
She is not the owner. She is
But
just a
Smriti's husband,
passing guy
yeah.
who came to learn
Smriti
few
and
things.
husband are married. So if my husband has a restaurant, it's also mine.
No, but your husband is married to you, and if he has a restaurant, you say it is yours. You can say on a moral ground it is yours, fine. But on a legal point, on a government point, whether it is taxation, whether it is GST or all, the ROC, the Registrar of Companies, it is not, you are not the owner, so you have no relationship. As a wife, yes, you can say my husband has a restaurant, so I it is my restaurant, you can claim that, perfect, that is no issues. But on ROC you cannot say, because you are not the legal owner of it, or you don't have shares of it. So
Okay.
there are two
So
things, one
uh,
is emotional, other is legality.
So when Kunal, the the well-known food critic, went there to review the restaurant, apparently he said that she's the entrepreneur, Zoisha is the entrepreneur and the owner of the restaurant, to which the girl nodded.
See, ma'am, two things here. First of all, I don't take these food critic very seriously, because they are all driven by emotions. They are all driven by. He also knows that the person sitting in front of him is daughter of Smriti Irani, right? So that is not hidden. That is very much there. So emotional outburst can be there. You can use certain words which
You mean
you
to say he
shouldn't.
erred? He made a mistake?
He made a mistake, of course he made a mistake. He should have done it professionally. He was not doing professionally. Second, the whole case was brought in by a Goa guy who is known to file RTIs. This gentleman is already having many cases on him on fake reporting and fake. I don't know. I have read on op-ed about his involvement in some female issues and things like
No,
that.
but Gauraji, I'm not talking about him at all. I'm just looking at the review, and at the review, she is conducting the review exactly as if she's the owner of the restaurant. Because I
But
can't, as an intern, go to a
ma'am,
restaurant and tell you to have food and show you what the head chef is cooking. I'm only a
ma'am,
small child.
ma'am, the kids really sometimes get excited. 18, 19 years of age is not something to be, everything to be taken as said, right? Especially by the mature politicians. The mature politician should understand what they should take and what they should not take. My son always used to behave like as if my organizations and my work belong to him. I made him very, I used to beat him all the time with his words. And I used to tell him that you have to earn your own bread. Don't depend on your father. Nothing is brought up by you, everything is brought up by me. Right? You may run this show after me, but provided you achieve that, you achieve that maturity of running that show. Otherwise, somebody else will do it who's professionally capable. So, here the issue was mixed with lot of emotions. Unnecessary words were taken care of. Issues have been made out of without facts checking properly. And Smriti blasted well, and I support Smriti that she blasted well in time. And even the High Court has said the words, so that's the end of the story now.
But at no point did Smriti Irani say that the restaurant, is partly owned by Zubin Irani.
No, that I think Zubin Irani name never came in between. I mean, if his name came, he would be very happy to say. because I don't know Zubin personally, but I we have exchanged some messages in the past when I was in Twitter. I knew Smriti Irani personally very well. I can say the character of that family is not what Congress is projecting or what is being projected by people. I'm not I'm not, whitewashing Smriti Irani. I'm just trying to be neutral, what I know and what I understand. I only met her once, and the documents she showed me during that meeting at her house. Unfortunately, I have a commitment not to talk about it. But the fact of the matter is that she loves her kids and she's growing her kids very well in a well cultured family.
Yeah.
So
Then,
getting the bar license and all this is rubbish.
okay, another candid question for you, Gauravji, is that how did people like two people? I mean, this time now, Modi ji is very, very clear about who should be getting Padma Shri and Padma Vibhushan. Okay, how did Ekta Kapoor and Karan Johar get the Padma Shri?
I I have written about it, Meenaji. You will notice the committee for Padma Shri that time when the Karan Johar and Ekta Kapoor got it was headed by Aditya Thackeray. So it came out of the quota of Maharashtra government and Aditya Thackeray to nominate them. Modi role was not. That is the reason they got the show. They got the work. Otherwise, there was no reason for anything.
So Smriti had no role in it.
No, 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 no. Smriti has absolutely no role. She knows very well if she do anything wrong, Modi would be the first person to throw her out of the cabinet.
Yeah. And what was that, the time when Modi ji got all these people to his house, all these actors from Shah Rukh Khan to Amir Khan, and all of them on a chartered jet to meet him? Who arranged that?
Man, first of all, I don't go into chartered jet because getting a chartered jet for all of them together is much cheaper than getting a commercial airline and business class tickets to everyone to come there. First of all. So, on a cost benefit analysis, chartered jet doesn't play any role. Now the question comes why Modi ji met all these people, and in fact, I would also like to add why Modi ji gave interview to Akshay Kumar, if you remember, when Bollywood is in this doldrum. Ma'am, understand one thing: there is a youth population of around 18% in India, and this youth population is driven by Bollywood. You like it or you don't like it, but the fact of the matter is that they are driven by the Bollywood. Now, Modi is very clever person. He know if I have to penetrate in this segment as Narendra Modi, I have to penetrate in this segment, and I want these people to like me, want these people to love BJP, and want these people to vote for BJP. I need to use the channel they follow. So he adopted the Bollywood thing to get into that segment of people. He has no likes for Bollywood. I can personally tell you this. He don't watch films. I don't watch films. Right? We have no liking for Bollywood, but you don't forget that Bollywood command a lot of control on these young minds of today in India and all
But
over
with
the world.
boycott Bollywood, that has also gone.
No, Modi has not done boycott
No,
Bollywood.
no,
It
no,
is
no.
done by
That's another
people.
issue. No, no. I'm talking about this point.
Sorry, come again. I didn't get your point.
No, not connected with Modi. What I'm saying is, if he thought that the youth are so influenced, now it's opposite. With boycott Bollywood, even the youth have abandoned them.
Yes, ma'am, that is all the game is being played. That is, please understand that game. Now we are seeping in the nationalism in this youth. You need to first talk to the youth. You need to bring the youth to you. Then you have to say to the youth what you believe about the nation, how the nation should be, and then the seeds of nationalism is sowed in the youth, so that the plan tomorrow which will come up would be a strong pillar for the nation. These are the things, these are the covert strategy which has been followed. These are psychological strategies which are being followed. And I'm very happy that today youth are moving away from Bollywood. They are demanding, and more than Bollywood, there are two factors: don't defame my nation, and don't defame the Hindus. These are the only. Talk factual, make factual films, nobody will boycott that. Make good films, nobody will boycott that. We all need Bollywood in our life, we all need films also, but not at the cost of defaming nation and defaming Sanatan, or as a matter of fact, any religion whatsoever. I mean, make films which are realistic, make films which are good.
Toyesh says, character of Smriti Irani who betrayed her close friend and stole her husband is very questionable. And Gloria says, Meena ji, please ask Gaurav ji about S. Irani's closeness with Bollywood. Now, the questions here, Gaurav ji, is that, earlier, of course, I think Modi ji would have, sort of put in his words. Earlier, Smriti used to have this habit of posting all that she talks with Ekta Kapoor, kitschy like friends and lovers or whatever. It used to come, everything from Instagram used to be posted. They used to make videos for each other on birthdays, and they used to, it was 100 things that started irritating people. People feel that she's not able to draw a line between her connections with Bollywood and her political, affiliations. So this is what everybody is now questioning.
Minaji, the problem with people are we are driven by emotions. So when we are in politics, we want to cut off, we want the person to cut off all the ties of his past or her past. The fact should not be ignored that it was Ekta Kapoor, whatever good or bad, I'm not going into that. But the fact of the matter is that it was Ekta Kapoor who built the career of Smriti Irani. Smriti Irani is Smriti Irani because of Ekta Kapoor. Modi came late, right? So it was, how can a person, and especially I can put it in my perspective also, how can I forget a person who has helped me to grow my career? In Modi ji's life also there are people who have helped Modi ji, which we as people of this nation and supporter of BJP or Modi ji don't like. I mean, there is a gentleman I always talk good about. I used to talk bad, but now I always talk good about, because the time when I came to analyze the reality. He is one of Modi ji's best friend, but on camera they fight. On camera they don't like each other. On camera they don't like each other party. But many people doesn't understand that,
Who is
be
he?
it 2002 Gujarat, right, or
Who is
be
he?
it of Modi as chief minister, this
Who is he?
gentleman role was foundation role.
Yeah, who is he?
नाम भी बताना जरूरी है मैम. My people will know who I'm talking about. It is
Tell
Digvijay
us.
Singh. It is Digvijay Singh.
आपका
So
भी दोस्त था ना?
नहीं मैम, मेरा इतने बड़े आदमी मेरे दोस्त नहीं होते. मैं उनकी रिस्पेक्ट करता हूँ. वो मुझे हमेशा योर एक्सीलेंसी करके बुलाते हैं, मेरा नाम नहीं लेते हैं. ये हमारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट है. दोस्त शब्द मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ गलत होगा, क्योंकि मैं एक पॉलिटिकली एनालाइज करता हूँ चीज़ों को, वो एक पॉलिटिशियन है. कॉमन पॉइंट हमारा कोई नहीं है. कॉमन पॉइंट बस यही है कि देश हमारा आगे बढ़ना चाहिए. वो एक कॉमन पॉइंट. बट
So Meena,
if somebody logically and factually and technically analyze the point when Modi ji asked Madhya Pradesh to send the police during 2002 riots, he will understand that Digvijay Singh never said no. In fact, Digvijay Singh helped Modi. But these are logical points need to be analyzed without bringing emotions in between. Only if you don't bring
how
emotions, you
did he
can.
help him?
Ma'am, since independence, please tell me which state police has gone to which state for maintaining law and order. India has
But
lot of
but
work.
from what Modi ji told me, He said that he was alone
Modi
at that
ji,
stage.
the whole story is Modi ji asked Digvijay Singh to send Madhya Pradesh police to maintain law and order in Gujarat during raids. The fact is, the technical fact is that since independence, there has been many raids in this country till date. Which state police has gone to other state to manage law and order? Even during Delhi raids, the Noida police and Gurgaon police, which are
No,
just about
but sorry, Gaurav. But what Modi ji very clearly said was that nobody sent any police.
अरे बाबा वही तो मैं आपको समझा रहा हूँ ना.
Acha, okay, okay. Please continue. Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to explain.
Hmm,
So when
hmm.
Modi ji asked Digvijay Singh to send the police, Digvijay Singh ji refused to send the police. And the whole thing, what he suggested, maybe offline he may have suggested, that make a request to center. Center will ask us to CRPF to go in because it is CRPF or RAF which goes into right management. They will go. We will provide the transportation for transportation of troops, which is the responsibility of the state where the force is housed. So if the force is now the if you see the open the map of that time, you see the force was right on the border.
Hmm.
But to transport that force, the transportation was provided by Madhya Pradesh government, that is Digvijay Singh. But the requisition had to come from the center, and state police never goes in other state to manage the rights. So what now you see the timeline. The 2 days delay were there. In that 2 delays, the mandate was very clear to Gujarat police. No matter who the person is, no matter which religion he is from, clear them. Who is creating problem, just clear them. So this is a shrewd strategy. I mean, people think Atalji has made Modi chief minister. Please go back and check out. Uh, there was a saying in Gujarat, "Dekho dekho kaun aaya, Gujarat ka sher aaya." This is a long before Modi ji was projected as chief minister by Atalji. So there is a lot of hidden stories. One day I may write a book once Modi ji leave prime minister and political post. I will write a book, most probably in 2029, and then you will realize a lot of hidden stories which are not known to people.
Okay. Going back to the same issue, Meera is saying, why does Mrs. Irani not do much to her portfolios which she has been assigned? Roams around like a minister at large. Where there is a conflict of interest,
I
ministers should
see,
keep away from these issues.
I see that ladies have a lot of problem with Smriti Irani, and I literally don't
No,
understand
no,
why
no.
ladies
Gaurav, don't
have.
say that. No, no, no. See, don't. This is not
I
envy or anything. See,
in
this audience that you're speaking to, Gaurav, very intelligent women who are not. We don't bring in envy and all
स्मृति
that.
ईरानी स्मृति ईरानी देखिए क्या होता है पॉलिटिक्स में एवरीबडी हैज अ रोल टू प्ले पॉलिटिक्स इज लाइक ए चेस बोर्ड everyone has a role to play. Smriti Irani has done a lot for her ministry. It is just that people don't have talk about.
What has she done?
I mean, if you see textile ministry, I mean, if you see textile
Nothing.
things,
Nothing. In fact, Piyush Goyal came and changed things.
and you, ma'am, understand that things doesn't change overnight. I give you an example. You remember Lalu Prasad Yadav when he was a railway minister and he claimed to revive railway. You remember that time, na? Now it was not done by Lalu Yadav. It was actually the work of Nitish Kumar, right? But it took couple of years to turn around and look in public, and the claim was made by Lalu Yadav. This is well known. This is well known written. So, Smriti Irani key role or key objective what is given to Smriti Irani is to take head on to Gandhi family. She is the only outspoken woman, and she is a woman. Also understand that who has taken over to take on Gandhi family. He kicked out Rahul Gandhi from Amethi, and in 2024, Sonia Gandhi would be the next out of Raibari. Her task is to dismantle Gandhi family from the constituency, which she is doing brilliantly. I do understand she is slightly on a hyper side. I do understand she need to be more subtle in her work, which do affect her ministerial post or ministerial responsibility. But there is a larger objective, and the larger objective is to uproot the Gandhis from their constituency, which they are holding for years or decades together, and which she is doing brilliantly.
I think she is just piggybacking on what Modi ji is doing and what Dr. Swamy has already done.
Ma'am, we all have
Now, this is just my
opinions.
opinion.
We,
I beg to be different here.
I welcome everybody's opinion. I think we all have opinions. We all have our reasons to think. I have my own reason to think, and being very analytical and very brutal on that. But at the same time, I don't, because I understand Mahabharat pretty well. I mean, Shikhandi has a role. He was not a warrior, but he has a role to play, and a very important role to play. So everybody has a role to play. Smriti Irani is being used, or say as a warrior for certain tasks, which she is doing pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to what's happening in West Bengal with regards to Partha Chatterjee. Now, a special PMLA court in Kolkata extended former West Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee's Enforcement Directorate custody by 2 days on Wednesday. On the expiry of their 10-day custody, they were presented before a single bench of Jibon Kumar Saad, who sent both of them to judicial custody till August 5th. Now, here, Gauravji, see, what I don't understand is we have a whole sort of a list of properties that this man has, Partha, and the list of properties that this woman has. And apparently, it's not only this woman who has, got these properties. He has another five other women in the background also, holding a lot of money and all that. Now, here, though I'm a woman myself, I feel ashamed that a certain kind of a group of women can control politicians in such a way that they can do anything, especially in a state that is as poor as West Bengal, and hoard so much money and do whatever they want, and people don't notice. For example, just last week a lady wanted to throw a slipper at Partha for what he has done to West Bengal. And of course, this is all leading to Mamta Banerjee and her nephew. So, what I don't understand is, Gaurav, is that, see, in many states, women are being used as honey buns, you know, to control the chief ministers, whether it is male or female, and to get their way across and become very rich. For example, there are also other things that make you upset. A woman like Arpita, her mother lives in subhuman conditions. When this woman has so many apartments, even that guy even has a AC flat for dogs. So, what is happening to our country? You mean to say it took so long, to find out all this and to put them in the docks only now? You mean to say with the Sharda scam, so many things were happening. Couldn't this have all been found out earlier?
Ma'am, the first reasoning of your question, it goes back to decades when man was born on this planet. Woman has always been a very potent weapon against men, from time to from time timeless time, right? Mahabharat, be it Ramayana, woman had been the reason behind it. Even beyond all the kingdoms, rajas, maharajas, women have played a role on it. So there is no difference, even if it is happening now. There is a lot of honey traps happening from across the border in India. There are a lot of self-declared majors and captains and colonels who are trapped, uh, and things are happening like that, and it will continue to happen because women are used. Even the woman Chinese ambassador in Nepal used to honey trap the prime minister of Nepal, which we rescued Nepal from. So this will continue, this will go as long as the man and woman are on this planet. So there is nothing about. Now comes why it takes so long. I don't think it has taken anything longer, because last year only I wrote a tweet that we are sitting with a fishing rod to get a mota fish hooked, and mota fish hooked. We were having a surveillance on this gentleman, we were having surveillance on this ladies, and agencies will only strike when the time is right and when there is substantial proof to crack. You cannot just go door to door and start knocking and make a mockery of yourself, because it is a politically motivated environment in India. Anything Modi do, even if he do with a clean mind, with a unbiased mind, he would be blamed for it. So it had to be result oriented. There had to be a lot of surveillance. During Bengal election, it was a political election. We saw the political science behind it. We understood the political motives. We understood the political approach toward Bengal election. But after losing Bengal election, it was very clear that simple politics is not going to change, make a lot of change. It had to be engineering, political engineering. What happened in Maharashtra, in your state, was political engineering, and that same engineering is going on in Bengal. Now, ED might have done with a motive, but the end of the day, the cash ED has not provided there. Somebody had that cash. There is many more. My estimate is 100 crore plus, which is just 50 crores right now. There is more to be recovered. And ED has just came out that they are puzzled with some three-bedroom apartment where there are 9 beds. I mean, maximum in a three-bedroom apartment, you will put 6 bed for 6 people to sleep. What the 9 beds are doing? So that puzzle need to be solved. This is just a start of investigation, and to say that that Mamta Banerjee is not aware about it, it is something totally wrong, because Mamta himself proved that she knows everything about it, because on the day one she suspended Partha and took a distance, because she knows that the heat is coming on her. So, to make the point very simple, this is just a start of the Bengal cleanup. It will take a lot of time. Lot of raids need to be done. Lot of big names to be there. A lot of Jechans playing the role. It is not just ED surveillance, but there is a lot of inside information from people. So I don't see any. I won't be surprised if TMC breaks apart like a Shiv Sena in a year or two. That cannot be ruled out. That is highly possible, and that is what I mean by political engineering.
See, coming to this point, when you say that the jury works very fast in certain cases, and ED also works in very fast in certain cases, why has the SSR case been pushed back for so long? What are they scared of? Are they scared to touch the underworld? Are they scared that they may, rake up a storm?
Ma'am, I have said this repeatedly many times in the past, that neither SSR case is on a back burner or SSR car case is closed. SSR case, Sushant case is not a open shut murder case. It involves a lot of things. It involves a lot of motive. You just spoke about woman being used. Reha Chakravarti is a woman. She was used, right? So there are a lot of things which are there in SSR case. And as I always says, justice delivered doesn't mean you hang two people. Justice delivered means that the cause of that crime should also be uprooted and cleaned. That is the real justice to be done. Second, I as a policeman or as a part of the government can arrest a person, but whether to put that person in jail or keep him outside the jail is not my job or not under my command. It is under judiciary. It had to be done under judiciary. We all know that judiciary in India is a problem, whether it is Bengal, whether it is Delhi, whether it is Maharashtra or anybody else, or even to a certain level, Supreme Court, and we have seen it. But judiciary doesn't mean we are talking about judges. When we say judiciary, we means we are talking about the entire system. We are talking about the lawyers, we are talking about the registrars, we are talking about the judges, we are talking about the entire supply chain of justice to be delivered. So SSR case is slow, and it is slow because SSR, day one I have written that it is related to child sex, it is related to child, it is related to drugs, it is related to prostitution. Now these things need to be broken. The nexus had to be broken. What is the point of arresting a person, a retailer who is selling a 10-gram heroin to somebody, unless I know the supply chain of drugs? Because when we talk about the justice system supply chain, we also know that the drugs have a supply chain, the child prostitution has a supply chain, the prostitution itself has a supply chain. So rather than if I arrest two prostitutes, what is the point? What I will gain out of it when I don't know who supplied that, who brought them to this prostitution business, how they are sold, how they are connected, how they are marketed. So this entire chain need to be broken if we have to solve a crime. So I don't believe with that narrative that SSR case is closed or is slow motion or is gone slow. I mean, I give you a simple example. If I have a 500 GB hard drive, an external hard drive, where I store all my document and things, even that thumb rule says it may store close to about 1,20,000 or 1,50,000 documents. Now, if I spend 5 minutes on each document to analyze what it is all about, please multiply 150,000 to 5 minutes and then calculate the amount of minutes required. Now, there are 20, 30 hard drives which are being recovered. Every hard drive need to be analyzed. It is not one day job, it is not 1 month job, it takes a lot of time to be done, and it cannot be done if I give you 10 hard drive I distribute with somebody else. And no, it cannot be done like that, because I need to have that investigative mind, and I need to have the root of the case before I investigate any hard drive. So it need to be done by professionals. The professional need to be from the investigative team. It cannot be done by just any software professional. So it takes time, man. That is why we say we need to also boycott Bollywood. We need to also boycott Karan Johars and Khans and all these mafias, because ultimately they are somewhere linked to Sushant murder, and they need to be shown places. So one day they have to come forward and say, "Yes, I know X person has killed Sushant or X person has given the reason." So this cabal need to be broken, and I just told you before that there are a large community of our young son and daughter who are so influenced by Bollywood. How do you break those nexus? So that nexus also need to be broken.
Recently, Salman Khan, has requested for gun license, and the same man who used to go around terrorizing everybody, including Sushant, is so scared he's also got an armored vehicle, which is bulletproof. Now, why do you think this man is so scared?
This man is scared because the underworld want to eliminate him. These khans are becoming the liabilities on underworld, because if you see the public outrage is on Johars, the khans, and these kind of people. And if you remove them from the radar, then first you create the sympathy. Second, you clean the slate and you put other people in place. Bollywood money means every penny you spend Bollywood, a fraction of that penny goes to terrorists against India. Everyone knows it. If you spend 100 rupees in PVR, there is a section amount of money which goes to
Yeah.
drugs. goes to prostitution, goes to anti-national activity in India. Every ticket you buy in cricket, every betting you do in cricket goes against your nation in some or the other way. So they know their kingdom is falling like a pack of cards, and to secure that kingdom, they need to eliminate some people. So that is probably the reason Salman Khan has got the hint. He has a bulletproof vehicle as well as a gun with him. But I tell you very well, I believe in Sanatan. When the time comes, neither the bulletproof will save you nor the gun will save you. You have to go. You have to pay
Yes.
for your karma and you will pay it for one day. That is for sure.
Maya says, Sir, that very question about women and children trafficking in SSR case bothers us. As Smriti, who heads Ministry for Women and Child Welfare, has not made a single move when we all know what Bollywood involves.
Maya ma'am, I do agree with you to a certain extent, but at the same time, I would like to also tell you the government doesn't move. Smriti Irani, I'm not taking as an isolated person. I'm taking as a government. So Smriti Irani, being an individual related to Bollywood, she has also the information about Bollywood. There are a lot of things which the government need to consider before action. And I explained you before putting Arjun in front of Karn, it was important to destroy his Shakti, and only then Sri Krishna took Arjun in front of her. When you talk about Smriti Irani about Bollywood connection, there is a gentleman by the name Satyapal who is also minister. He was the commissioner of Mumbai Police. I mean, who knows crime in Mumbai better than the ex-commissioner? He, in fact, know better than Smriti Irani. So our question should also be why he is not acting. But they are all acting. It is only about the right time when you strike it.
So, Metal Films, she's a
Just one
filmmaker.
sec, just one
Yeah.
sec, just one sec, Meena ma'am. When demonetization happened on 8th of November 2016, 29th of December 2016, I wrote a tweet, which I have published many times on my Telegram channel, that it the tweet only says two words: Bollywood next. So 2016, we were waiting for an opportunity to strike to Bollywood and to clean up that system from prostitution, from drug, because these are the hotbeds for crime. The crime take birth from all these things. That opportunity came to us when Sushant Singh Rajput departed. So Sushant Singh Rajput, you may not like or you may have emotions about him, but we at intelligence agencies and people at intelligence agency, trust me, they thank Sushant Singh Rajput that his sacrifice has let us go inside Bollywood, and that is one thing I can assure you: his sacrifice will never be wasted.
Yeah.
That rest assured about.
Yeah. On the same note, Metal Films, she's also a filmmaker. So she says, we'd appreciate if Gauruji can shed some light on Smriti's contribution to justice for SSR, considering her past experience and ties with the industry and her current role, current leadership role portfolio. Thank you.
I'm not too sure who's the person behind asking this
Person
question.
is Sangeeta. Sangeeta.
Okay, Sangeeta ma'am, with respect, I would rather say that there are a lot of perception. We as filmmakers or we connected to film fraternity would like Smriti Irani to act openly, but understand very one thing which I am repeating again and again, that on knee jerk reaction things doesn't happen in this government. There had to be a lot of planning, there had to be a lot of systematic approach when we approach something to be fixed, because I mean, I tell you what, uh, I'm sure you all have taken crocin when you get headache, right? When the headache happens, you take a coffee, you take tea, or you take crocin. But my question on behalf of doctors would be, are all headaches same? All headaches are not same. But we all tend to do is we pop up a crocin in our mouth and we believe that headache is gone for some time and we feel relieved. But the point is that headache, by suppressing the headache with a crocin, you might be blowing up some problem somewhere in your body, which goes beyond control. So all headaches are not same. All problems may look same, but actually are not same. They need to be drilled down, they need to be root causes, and then need to be rectified. So, Sangeeta ma'am, I promise you, in 2016, when I said Bollywood next, we were very serious about cleaning the Bollywood. And after Bollywood, we will be cleaning the cricket also. We have already placed. There is always people in well in place to monitor and to do surveillance on behalf. And Bollywood connection to cricket cannot be ruled out. You all know the involvement of Raj Kundra with Rajasthan Cricket Board. The Rajasthan Cricket Board is already an open case in Rajasthan High Court for IPL, as well as some cases about Barmer Cricket Association and Rajasthan Cricket Association. So things will change, but it will all require a right time and a right approach to change. It cannot change because I don't like, I want it to happen tomorrow. My only request, a humble request to all of you, is to have patience and trust in your leadership. If
Yeah.
this leadership cannot deliver, I promise you no other leadership can deliver, at least as of today.
Yeah. But also, what Karthik says is very true. He says, when will the nexus be broken, sir? Haven't we lost too many lives? Now, here, Gauravji, before you answer, just a point. Okay. We've been doing a series on, women who have died in television field as well as films. And not only women, men also. And all these have been faked as suicides. And everything has a sort of a pattern. It's like serial killers. The cabal works in that way. Now, we've exposed so many models who've died, so many actresses and men. Now, we've given the details. If you see my videos, there's a huge list of it. And a lot of the women come from the serials directed by Ekta Kapoor, which comes under Balaji Banner. Now, Balaji Banner, Ekta is very quick to, as she did in the Sushant case, to say that, it's all about depression. They commit suicide, that's it. And many of us don't even bother to find out more than that, which is what happened to Siddharth Shukla. Siddharth Shukla's case was hidden very cleverly because they knew what happened to Sushant. Everything came into the public eye. Now, similarly, many other people are dying. So, what our viewers are saying, and which I also agree, Gauravji, is that how many people have to die before the ministry does something? See, Smriti is from the field. She
Ma'am,
knows.
I completely understand your sentiment. I completely understand the sentiments of your viewers who are asking the questions. I completely understand that Smriti Irani had to be answerable, at least on a moral ground, on a lot of things, even if she is not the minister controlling that particular ministry. I completely agree with all of you, but understand exploitation in film industry or glamorous industry, be it fashion, be it modeling, be it films, is not happening today. It has been happening for years together. Exploitation is the next word. When we talk about suicides, now Ekta Kapoor can wash it off with depression, but my question would be, what made that person depressed? There had to be a reason for depression. That depression, somebody is driven towards suicide by somebody, and because of somebody's actions, somebody work, the other person is pushed back to an extreme limit of committing suicide. So now that suicide could be anything. It could be related to career, it could be related to sexual exploitation, it could be related to pregnancy, it could be related to people not agreeing, slept together but then refusing to get married, and they exploited a woman or a girl or a small young teenager. These things are happening for years together in Bollywood, and Bollywood is known for it. This is all which we want to clean up, and this is what cleanup is happening. And it is a multifold approach. It is not just the agency's approach, it is moral approach also. It is like creating a UP film city also, which will play a lead role in cleaning up a lot of stardom blackmailing which happens in Bombay. So that will clean up, but things
So
will
do you,
take time. And I am not saying that suicide will stop tomorrow morning, or I am not saying. I can only say
no, but these
if
are not
somebody,
suicide, Gauravji. These are not
I
suicide. They
Minaji,
kill
that will
them and they put a noose on their neck. That's it.
Minaji,
Yeah.
Minaji. What I'm saying is, if somebody is driven to suicide, please, my doors are always open. Come back, live with us, sit with me. I will see. I will mentor you. I mean, don't need to take the extreme steps if anybody is watching and depressed. Depression is nothing in Sanatan Dharma. So I give my services to it at no cost. But things are changing from the government point of view. We cannot open all the front at the same time. We have to be cautious about it. Bollywood is well connected to Cabal, well connected to connections with the leaders of Cabal in India and globally. You know Amir Khan, how he interacted with Turkey's first lady. You know how he is connected to the Sonias, the Gandhis in India, the Clintons in America, the Xi Jinping in China. These are the cabal against India. We cannot open all the front at the same time, but that doesn't mean we don't know about it. One step at a time will only solve the problem. But I'm sorry to say, by that time, there could be some more
Many more
loss of
deaths.
life or unpleasant happening. We can only together motivate these people not to take extreme step.
Yeah.
That is what I can say.
Yeah. Also, just a doubt, when Shilpa Shetty's husband Kundra was caught with making porno movies, the same thing was being done by Smriti Irani's best friend Ekta Kapoor. And that question goes to Meera, says, doesn't the Women and Child Welfare Minister know the vulgar content her friend's production house makes? So how come one man is caught but the other person is not caught?
Well, Raj Kundra, I have said it in one of my videos. I think last year, Raj Kundra case looked like that a vulgar video was made and he was caught because of vulgar video. Actually, this was not the case of vulgar video of Raj Kundra. It was the case of business rivalry. What happened is there was a loophole in the Cinematography Act which says that anything which is streamed outside India, the Cinematography Act doesn't come into play. It doesn't affect that. Raj Kundra used that loophole on while hosting his server in Malaysia and all these places, and putting the expletive content on it. What Raj Kundra did brilliantly in lockdown, he gave, when people are sitting at home and doing nothing, he gave membership of 100 rupees and watch as many content as you can on his on his app and other thing which are hosted outside India. So it was not coming part of cinematography act. So under no time, Raj Kundra started billing thousands of crore per month revenue, which Reliance Films, Ekta Kapoor, and all the other content developers couldn't do together. Raj Kundra has more than I think 10 million subscriber or more than that even. Where getting 200,000, 300,000 subscriber by these content developer was a problem. So as soon as the law was amended, as soon as within a month a complaint was filed, I think it was February, a complaint was filed against Raj Kundra in their new act. And that time also I said Raj Kundra will spend few days in jail, but eventually he will be out. On the point that Cinematography Act was not applicable to him when he was streaming the content. So the whole case of Raj Kundra was actually a business rivalry of Mumbai content developers and the production houses rather than anything to do with vulgarity and 18 plus content.
But in this area, the only rival was Alt Balaji.
There was Alt Balaji. There were Reliance films were also. There was one international also. I forget the name. I'm not good in keeping the names. There was an international media house also. There were three, four people, and the complaint was not filed by Alt Balaji. The complaint was filed by a person from Reliance. So Reliance Film or whatever it is called. The complaint was filed from them.
Reliance under uh, Ambani.
Of course, Reliance means Ambani.
Ambani connected to Bollywood.
Well, Reliance Entertainment and all these are connected to Bollywood. I mean, money is connect a lot of business.
Yeah. Okay. So before we close the session, I want to ask you a question that many people are asking, Gauravji. The last question is that how strong is Annamalai and can he change Tamil Nadu?
Annamalai. Annamalai is a very seasoned, grounded person. He doesn't venture into many things. I compare Annamalai with a person by the name of Chief Minister Jagan Reddy.
Hmm.
They don't poke their nose into everything happening in the country like many other young politicians from BJP. Somebody sitting in Karnataka talking about Ladakh and Kashmir. I'm not saying don't talk about it, but focus what is the focus area for it. Annamalai coming as a IPS officer knows lot of law and order issues. He knows lot of nexus, which is the conversion mafia, jihadi mafia, or the most important the fake passport. Tamil Nadu, one of the biggest issue is the fake passport which are being made in Tamil Nadu. Now, if you see the arrangement, what had happened over a period of time, the governor Ravi is an ex-IB, ex-NSA, ex-intelligence person, and an IPS. He is the governor. What he is doing is he is visiting temples which are isolated temples and especially in the area of missionaries and jihadis. Then you have Annamalai, who is controlling the ground on a political front, being an ex IPS, knows about law and order, knows about the system pretty well, knows about the DMK and AIADMKs and all the kind of the parties which are there in Tamil Nadu. There is a third gentleman which is recently added, Samir Wankhande, which all of you know. And his job is to create he understands the drug nexus very well. Because being in Bombay and investigative, he understands uh, drug nexus very well. Now, you all know Tamil Nadu is also the entry point of drugs. Drugs, when you talk about drugs, drugs means currency. Drugs means a hard currency, the payment system in the underworld. That is how the payment is done in underworld unnoticed. And later on, at a right step, it has been cashed out. Since Hawala money is monitored, since fake currency is monitored and ruled out and kept in check, and more people moving toward digital, the drug money business is going up. With drug and cryptocurrency, these two are going up in funding the international activity in any part of the country, not just in Tamil Nadu, in any part of the country. So Annamalai is, for me, is a very grounded, very seasoned, very well spoken, and most important, he speaks only when it is necessary to speak. He doesn't speak unnecessarily. He don't take jibes. Second, he understands the history. He recently talked about the Kashmir role of Kashmir and role of Tamil Nadu in India. I mean, Tamil Nadu temple, one temple he was talking about in Madurai was built by the bricks made in Kashmir, dipped in holy water of Ganga in Uttarakhand and upstream, and then brought to Tamil Nadu to build that temple. So that is what the India Tamil Nadu is all about. Unfortunately, in last 3 to 4 or 5 decades, the political movement, the political motives, have divided Tamil Nadu on Aryan theory, on this theory or that theory, or Tamil or Hindi. But if you literally see, Sanatan is very well preserved in Tamil today as compared to UP or Bihar, which it should be. The culture is very well preserved in southern state, much better, Sanatan culture, much better than what it is supposed to be in UP or other northern part of the state. So
Yeah,
I'm very hopeful for Annamalai. He's a great guy and he's an asset to the BJP.
yeah. And only a few lines about Pelosi's visit to Korea.
Sorry, come.
Pelosi's visit to Korea.
No,
Nancy
she's
Pelosi.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
Ma'am, understand one thing. You scratch my back, I will scratch your back.
Mm,
That is what this whole drama is all about. You all are aware, and if you read me, you are more aware. If you read my Telegram channel, you are more aware that Biden is the president of US because of China.
mm,
America has seen 2 quarters of negative growth, which is technically entering into recession. If you pick up the history of US in the last 30 years, they have not done much for the people of America, from lifting them from recession or poverty or whatever it is. They have always used arms as the best method to pump money into the economy. America business run on three lobbies: arms, pharma, and oil. And you have seen that. Now, coming to China, during Galwan, when everybody was talking about Third World War and this and that, and China is going to attack India, I was the only chilled out guy who always said nothing will happen, don't worry.
mm,
Because China is a paper dragon, it is not a fighting machine. Chinese soldiers are trained very well and, in fact, best in the world to do a ceremonial parade, but they are not trained as a soldiers, especially on the high altitude. It was all about posturing. China do posturing. China believe in fifth generation warfare. This is psychological, controlling your media, controlling the narrative, pumping the narrative, making you fight, and most important, the loan method of controlling nations. I mean, giving loan and controlling nation and its national assets. That you have seen in Pakistan, that you have seen. So in China, when Pelosi said she want to go to Taiwan, the now understand Pelosi character. She is most corrupt woman in current U.S. politics. She do insider trading for her husband to control the stock exchange, and she controls a lot of lobby business in
mm,
all the three lobbies.
mm,
Why she has gone to Taiwan, what she is going to do in Taiwan. The Taiwan semiconductor company is already building a factory in California. Why you have to go again? The whole thing was they want American to forget Biden and Pelosi business, which is at the lowest popularity rate today. It has dropped below 40%. Midterm elections there, and they want to revive it. So a stage was set of war, that if Pelosi goes to Taiwan, China will blast Taiwan, or China will hit her aircraft and bring her down. And I said, nothing will happen यार, खाना खाओ सो जाओ यार, कुछ ना हो रहा रात को, ठीक है? So this is all well staged plan between China and, now what is China interest? It is important for people to understand. As I have always explained, America is the biggest economy based on consumption, and China is the second biggest economy based on production. Now, if recession hit in America and the consumption reduces in America, who is going to be directly hit? It is China, not India.
mm,
So they need to create a drama. And again, Xi Jinping rating in uh, China is the lowest at all time lowest.
mm,
People are waiting to revolt inside China. They are already doing it. You have seen the banking system, you have seen the vaccine system, you have seen all those things. They are revolting. They are putting tanks on roads now. Now, Xi Jinping want to divert the attention. So he is desperate to create an enemy outside China to divert the attention of people. That is what exactly he did in Galwan. He created the phobia of India in China that India is going to attack. His job was made easy by his agents in India who said that China has entered 1200 kilometer inside Indian boundaries, means they have come to Mumbai also. So these kind of agents have worked in favor of China. China want to divert their people. America want to divert their people from the recession and the cost inflation, which is crossing all time high now. They need to create a drama, and this is all the drama is going to be played. That's the reason Pelosi is in Taiwan. Nothing will happen. Chaddar tano or soja or ash karo bhai.
well said, Gauravji. Excellent. So, thank you so much for your precious time with us. You've spoken so well about all subjects, some of which we agree and some of which we don't agree. But that's
Well,
how politics is.
I have no issues if you don't agree with me, because everything, if we agree on anything, then there is something wrong, right, in your understanding and my thing. So we need to agree to disagree. Problem happen when the logics are not understood.
Yeah,
Because you are a filmmaker, you have a filmmaker fraternity, which obviously see from the filmmaking point of view the role of the government. I'm not in government, I'm not in film fraternity, but I am belong to a certain class or certain section which monitor things on a different way. So there had to be a difference. But as I said, I mean, if you take example of Mahavikas Aghadi government since 2019, I have been always consistent and writing what will happen in future, right? Everybody disagreed. Many people disagreed with me. They made joke and mocking and everything, whatever possible they can do. But at the end of the day, what happened in Mumbai was the same what I have written in 2.5 years. Word to word, what I have written happened. So I see things from a different perspective. I respect your opinion because I understand you are looking from a different perspective. But our objective is same, that the cleaning of Bollywood is utmost necessity at the same time before they destroy any more generation to come for India.
absolutely. Thank you. And on that note, we and the viewers
Jai
say thank you and
Jai
good
Hind.
night.
Jai Hind.
Good night.